Well, at first, when after I get back in '89, I've been praying a lot about the church in Cambodia, and then over and over, people keep talking to me, said, well, we should do this in Cambodia, we should do that in Cambodia, and then God keep reminding me about, going back to help rebuild the church in Cambodia. So I shared that with my wife, and at first it get kind of hard for me too because being a pastor, you get a check every month. It's easy. Being a missionary, you have to raise your own support, so you don't know where the money come from. That's one thing. Secondly, when I talk with my wife, and she know the calling that God called us to go back, but she's still afraid of the Khmer Rouge going to return. So she told me, she said, okay, we can go back, you and I go back, but none of the kid will go back, right? I said, okay, then, it take a few years for me to make, the move. But then God didn't let me go back, but I mean, go back and live there, but go back and do ministry. Because in 92, I'm supposed to move back. But that organization that's supposed to send me back with cover my living stipends didn't fall through, and then I didn't get to move back. But also, I think that's God's plan too, because God wanted me here, but doing ministry over there, back and forth, it's more benefit for the Cambodian church on both ends of the world. But then in 2007, when my Priscilla went to Cambodia, well, she wanted to go to Cambodia, but while I'm in the car, in a bus, my wife called from U.S. saying, Priscilla want to go and live in Cambodia to work there, but I don't want her to go. And I said, wait until I get home. Right now it's not a good time to talk, but at the time, the phone is very expensive, $5 a minute, so it's ridiculous cost. So when I get home and I talk with my daughter, she still insists to go. And I told my wife, I said, now is safer for her to go, and especially if Ravi is there, she can live with Ravi. Then she kind of agreed with hesitation. So we went. I went with my daughter on a project with through Missions Door to build a church building, and then I left her there with my brother. I said, okay, you're staying with your uncle. When you go out, you go with one of your cousin, because she's a young lady. There during that time, also kidnapping, a young girl and sell in the market and stuff. So after I came back, Ravi called me and said, Priscilla moved in with her friend, work at the clinic. And to make it worse, the the toilet is a community toilet, so it's outside. It's not in the house. And so I called, well, she called, and then I said, why you change your mind? You're supposed to be staying with your uncle. At the time, I haven't told my wife yet that her move. And then she said, Dad, it's okay. I serving God, and I know that God protect me. But also, you said, work with the poor, live like a poor, with the poor. So I didn't do anything wrong. So I kind of couldn't say anything anymore because, me with my big mouth explaining that to my daughter. So I told her, I said, okay, you can live with your friend, but once a week you need to be at your uncle's house. And every Monday, your time, you need to call your mom. And then I told my wife, and she's not happy about it, but she said, have the cousins checking up on her regularly. So she living there for a year, and then she came home and got married. So with my wife, she at the time she afraid of the Khmer Rouge return, but now she doesn't have that anymore. But we know that God doesn't want us to live in Cambodia, especially now. We in our retired age. we do better ministry from here with communication, with donors and making report and stuff. And then since I train people that doing ministry in Cambodia, equip them to do a job there, so I can just come in and help refresh them and continue the class to equip pastor and church planter for them to continue their ministry. So I think that that's what God called us to do. We know for sure.